finish it Friday. I'm stitching it my way. Just wanna be sitting with needles and knitting. Hello, hello, all my yarn lovers and fiber artists, all my crafty and creative people. Yes, I am recording this video for Finish It Friday. Yay, we made it to Friday. So say hello in the comment section. Let me know where you're watching from and what your latest FO finished object is. Did you just finish knitting a scarf, crocheting a blanket? Maybe you're doing the diamond painting. Maybe you just wrote a poem. I don't know, but let us know because we'll help you celebrate. And hey, if it's a project or a craft you just finished, we might want to finish it too. So if you're a returning viewer, well, you know what Finish It Friday is, right? That's just show and tell in the crafting community. That's where I show you my latest finished object, right? My finished project. And because I am visually impaired and I want to include other visually impaired people in my channel, I'm going to use my words and describe it to you and give you all the details because it's one of my own designs. And hey, if you want to make it too, I'd love to hear about it. If you make this, let me know. So it's what you saw me working on, the skirt. Yes, I know you saw it. And here it is. It is finished. I know some of you are waiting to see if I'm ever going to finish the spider web top. I don't know if I can actually create what I have in my mind. Okay, I was so close to it. So we'll see. I hope so because I don't know what else we got going on for Finish It Friday next week. So I start lots of things though, if you can see. But I'll tell you, if you can't, I got lots of the faux fur hanging out on the bed with me. I just love this fairy tale fur in black. We got it in gray. We got it in pink. It is all over the place here. So, did you see my tutorial for my fancy and faux fur hat in the pink? Have you made it? Did you make it in pink? Or did you make it in another color? It's totally fine if you do, but let me know your thoughts on the tutorial. Okay, well today's FO is the skirt, and it is knit and crocheted in the knitpicks we crochet brava baby DK. Now, if you're familiar with knitpicks and we crochet, you know that their brava is a 100% acrylic machine washable yarn. They've had it in the worsted weight for a while, in the bulky, in the sport, and then this summer they're like, why not? We need a baby DK. And I'm like, yeah, why not, right? So it came out as a new yarn this summer, and you just know I had to get some in the house and I had to try it. So now I'm fully aware that I'm holding up a skein of bright red. Yeah, we got their bright red out. I just want you to see the size of it if for some reason you've missed it. These are about, I'd say about 270 yards would be my guess on that. 270, 272, 276, somewhere around there for your yardage. And I used 2 of these. So there's lots of yardage, very generous yardage. And I used 2 of those, not quite 2, to complete my skirt. Okay, so what we did is this is worked top down. I started with and I used the color black, but you can make yours in any color. I thought about making mine 2 colors, right? Like changing it up on the lace and making that. OMG, did I not finish? Oh my goodness, y'all, that's funny. Oh, that's too funny. Here I am talking to you guys, doing my video, and I didn't cut my last tail in there. Well, that doesn't surprise anybody, does it? You guys know how much I hate dealing with ends, right? You know how much I hate weaving in ends. So, yeah, apparently I didn't cut my last end here. But that's okay. I haven't worn it out of the house yet. I promise. That's funny. So I started with a US size 5 needle, which is a 3.75 millimeter. I do a long tail cast on top down, and then I cast on for somebody of my size. You can make yours to fit you, right? But for me and a DK weight yarn, I'm not quite 5 feet 5. I'm about 5 feet 4 and a half, about 120 pounds right now. But eating too much cake, probably. too many desserts. So, you know, put on a little weight, but probably about 120 pounds. So I make mine to fit me. You make yours to fit you, right? That's why we knit and crochet our own clothes, so we can make stuff to fit us and our bodies. So for me, with a DK weight yarn, I cast on 112 stitches. Join in the round, and then I have videos on my channel on how to do waistbands on skirts, okay? So I'm not going to go in great detail on there, but you can definitely look those up. I did a knit 2 purl 2 waistband for 12 rounds, right? Knit 2 purl 2 to create this nice elastic ribbing in the waist. Do that for 12 rounds. And then I did my turning row, which, as I talked about in other videos, I create a tactile ridge or tactile seam, right? So that I can feel it. There's no other way that, as somebody, if I don't even know, did I introduce myself yet today? I don't even know. Wow. Okay. Well, just in case I didn't, really can't remember. I am pretty sleep deprived some days, kind of out of it some days. So, if I didn't introduce myself yet, my name's May. I love yarn. I love to knit and crochet. Those are my hobbies. And I also happen to have been born visually impaired, legally blind, and completely colorblind. So I mostly knit and crochet by feel. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have to create this tactile turning row, which means I do the opposite of the knit 2 purl 2, where I do purl, instead of doing knit 2 purl 2, I do one round of purl 2 knit 2, and that literally creates a tactile edge or seam that I can feel. And then I go back and I do the exact same thing. I do 12 more rounds of knit 2 purl 2, and that creates a casing that at the end I can sew elastic in. And I did that, okay, to make this waistband. So once you create that tactile seam by doing the purl 2 knit 2 for one round, then you have something you can feel, and then you can fold it over and sew your elastic in on the inside. I use 3/4 inch elastic in the waistband of this. I think that's fine. And I just, measure myself and pin that and then stitch that together and then sew it in on the inside. I'm going to be honest with you. This is the most blind I've ever been and had to sew in a casing, okay, a waistband like that. And this definitely, I struggled with it. It was the hardest one I've ever done for me to really have to work by feel. And I just had to, do a couple of stitches and then stop and feel it and make sure it's realigned so that my waistband, right, so that my ribs were perfectly lined up. And I've been doing these waistbands since I've been knitting, right? Some of the first things that I knit were some cute skirts, the brown skirt and swish, right? The cable skirt, I've shown that on the channel a few times. And that was one of the first things that I knit. I probably did that in like 2011 or 2012. And I certainly could see better then and could really work those waistbands a lot better. So I'm definitely struggling. This waistband was a struggle for me. I think it's not perfectly straight. It's probably a little bit crooked in places. Okay, I'm going to be real with you. I don't think my ribs are perfectly, I don't think they're perfectly straight. I think they're a little bit of an angle, but I just tend to do that, and I have to stop. And if you're visually impaired and you're trying to sew, you definitely want to stop every couple of stitches and really make sure that you're still straight and everything's in alignment, because it's really easy to pull that, to get your stitches too small or too close together, too bunchy, too far apart, right? So really maintaining your stitch size and your spacing is hard to do when you can't see what you're doing, and there's no other way to do it except to stop and feel it and realign your project every couple of stitches, okay? This was really hard for me, but I'm still gonna do it, right? Even though I did try it on, I think it's good enough, even if it's got some slight little bit of an angle to it. So I did that on the size 5 needle after I got done with the ribbing, and I don't do that till the end, okay? I do the entire project, tie it off, and then I sew in the elastic casing. But after I finished the ribbing, I changed it up to a US size 6 or 4mm needle. I did 4 rounds maintaining that 112 stitch count, and then I just started doing my increases like I do for so many of my skirts and designs. We do a knit 1, through the front and the back loop, right? Knit that stitch through the front, and then you knit it in the back to create an increase. So we've got just our typical, I wonder if I should turn on a light. You guys might like that, huh? So, okay, is that better? Does that help y'all? So, sorry about that. I just really, it gets dark. I live in Washington State, if you don't know that yet, and it gets dark earlier and earlier and earlier here. So, you know, it is getting dark, you know, before 6 o'clock now, sunset. And so I kind of forget that and think, you know, oh, I can record here and I can record then, and then it's dark and I don't even realize it. So, sorry. Okay, so that's my mom. The thing that she'll say, my mom doesn't watch all my videos, but she watches some, and that's what she'll say to me all the time: it's really dark in your video. So I'm like, well, Mom, I'm 47 and I was born visually impaired, and you know that, and you know, I lived with you for 18 years, so 20 years, so you know that I often don't turn lights on until late at night, and then, you know, all of a sudden I'm like, huh, it's kind of dark in here. So anyway, so I just did a knit one through the front and the back increase at the side, right at the very first stitch, worked all the way across my front needle. I did this on 2 circular needles, so halfway through, right? So 56 stitches at the very first stitch, and then at the the last stitch on the first needle, the 56th stitch, right? Knit it through the front and the back, flipped it over, second needle, did the same thing. I guess you can call it stitch 57, knit it through the front and the back, right? And then to the very last stitch, 112, knit it through the front and the back just to create 4 more stitches. So we increased by 4 stitches to 116 stitches. And then I did my typical kind of A-line skirt design that I like, which is what I tend to choose. I just did that on a DK way. I do that about every 4 rounds until I got to 72 stitches on each needle. Okay, so what is that on both? 144 stitches on both needles, and then I just knit it for several rounds as long as I want it. And that's the thing about a skirt, right? You make it as long as you want it before you start. I love knitting skirts because they're really fun. You can do so much with them. You can really customize them to your own body, your own measurements, your own style, right? You put out as many stitches as you want in the waistband, and you put in as many increases as you want, right? I've talked about that in other videos, right? This particular skirt, I go 4 stitches, but you could put an increase here and an increase here by giving you 4 more stitches, and then you can do it on the other side too. You can increase up to like 12 stitches in a round if you want it, if you need it bigger or you want it bigger. So I love the flexibility and individuality of making skirts. So before I transition over to the crochet, I did increase my needle size one more time to a US size 7 or 4.5 millimeter, just to flare it out just a little bit more. But just remember, as you start increasing your needle sizes, this is a DK weight yarn, so the recommended needle is a US 5 to 7, so the 3.75 to 4.5. So once you get bigger than that, your stitches are going to get looser, drapier, more airier, more see-through. So I really like to try to maintain, it's knit, but I still like to try to maintain, tight, dense stitches on the upper part of my skirt, right? Private areas, right? In my opinion, I like to keep my private areas private, right? So I mean, you do you, it's your project, you do you. And then I still do have some bicycle shorts, right? Like if you're wondering about wearing skirts like this out in public, because even with a knit fabric like that, they can still sometimes, be a little bit see-through. So I just get like bicycle shorts off of Amazon, and I wear these even under skirts that I just buy sometimes, right? Not even just a knit skirt, but just something that I buy if I'm gonna be active and or something when I'm out. Sometimes it's good just to make sure that you maintain some modesty, right? So these are just bicycle shorts on Amazon. Just look up bike shorts, right? And these got these cute little lace ruffle on the bottom and everything. Just bike shorts. That's all you gotta look up, and you can find these. So and they're pretty affordable too, and they're comfortable. But they just kind of, if you're concerned about those things, they can kind of give you that extra sense of that security and maintaining your modesty wearing any skirt, including a knit skirt. So I have those in black. So I did that just to keep this, till I got long enough, till I got down to kind of my lower upper thigh area. I definitely wanted to have full coverage till I got well past you know, mid-thigh for me. And then I did transition over to crochet. Yeah, I did. As I say, I have a video on my channel explaining to people just how I do that. So you can learn how to do that. It's pretty easy, in my opinion, how to transition over to crochet. And then I went up to a 5mm crochet hook, so your H, right, your H8 or your 5 milli on that. And then I just did a round. I maintained my stitch count at 72, and I did 5 rounds of single crochet, just to still keep the fabric kind of dense and tight, right? Just to keep those stitches tight. We got some single crochet. We got 5. That's really funny that I didn't cut that. We got, let's see, let's cut that. My goodness. So we got 5 rounds of single crochet on that, and then we have 1 round of half double crochets, and then we have 1 round of double crochets. And then once I did that, then I decided to go into my stitch pattern. And of course, that's what I said right on the end of the video. I got to make sure I'm really careful about it. When you're visually impaired, boy, have I learned recently. Careful with the scissors. Yeah, I'm just going to tell you that's what happened with this spider web top. Somebody who's visually impaired was not careful with their scissors because they really can't see what they're doing anymore. So, yeah, that's why you're not seeing that this week. OMG, right? So, okay, so we did the double crochets, 1 round of double crochets, and then I remember I did my video on Tuesday about accessing patterns when you're visually impaired, right? When you are struggling to read your patterns anymore. And one of the things I said was just do what you know, right? That's what I said. I said, do what you know, right? So if you've been knitting and crocheting for a while and you have certain stitch patterns memorized, right? I've shown you my feather and fan blanket, my feather and fan dress, the vine lace blanket, the vine lace scarves. I've used vine lace on straps, on tank tops. So I have those stitch patterns memorized, right? So if you have certain stitch patterns memorized, then just do what you know. And so that's what I thought I would do, partially to kind of illustrate that point and to remind you that stitch patterns can be versatile and sort of think outside the box. So I have a tutorial on my channel for my shell and trellis beanie, right? Here it is, my black one in the Knit Picks We Crochet Swish worsted. This is crocheted up in the shell and trellis, right? I crocheted this, and I literally just used that exact same pattern. This is shell and trellis because I want you to see that you can put that on other stuff, right? You can put it on a skirt. So that's exactly what I did because it's a multiple of 9. And I had 72 stitches. So, and that beanie, we happen to have 72 stitches. Well, I had 72 stitches across the bottom of my skirt. If you can believe it, that's like the beanie twice across one side and then across the other. So we just double the size of our beanie basically, right? And make it onto a skirt. And so I think I even did the same amount of rounds, honestly, the same amount of shells as I did on my beanie. And so if you haven't seen that, when you work that in the round, the beginning, you just do your chain 3, right? And then you skip 3, and then in the center stitch, it's a multiple of 9, right? So then that center stitch, you do 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, you skip 3, and then in the last stitch for your repeat, you do a double crochet. And then your repeat around starts with double crochet, skip 3, the next middle stitch of your 9, you do 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, skip 3, and you double crochet. And you just repeat that all the way around. So yes, you do have 2 double crochets right in a row there, right? We're creating the trellis. Those 2 double crochets that are next to each other are the trellis. These are the shells, right? The double crochet, chain 1 double crochet. So those are our shells. That's our trellis. It's literally the exact same pattern worked in the round, just like on the hat. on the hem of a skirt. How fun is that? So I definitely want to encourage people to design their own projects, to think outside the box, to work with, if you can't see patterns, work with the stitch patterns that you know, right? So I now have a cute, cute black skirt to go with my black and orange socks. So I honestly think I could wear these black and orange socks and skirt, like, I could wear them all through November too, right? So the spider web top, well, if I finish it, that's probably only for Halloween, maybe all of October next year. Don't know if I'd wear it after that in November, but I would certainly wear the skirt probably all year. Honestly, this skirt's very versatile. I probably wear it all year. The stockings, I think black and orange is a good fall color. So I don't know if I'd be wearing black and orange in the spring or not, but who knows? So anyways, I'm at least happy that I have these two pieces done, completed, wearable throughout October and November, and probably even part of December too. So anyways, that is my FO, my finished object for the week. Super happy that I at least got that done. That makes me happy. Look at that. Love it, love it, love it. Shell and trellis beanie on the bottom of a skirt. Super fun. Got my little bike shorts, so I'm good, right? The stockings are really warm for sure. They are acrylic, which means they're not breathable, which this time of year, I don't know about you, but it's getting very cold here. So, we've hit the 33 mark right around there, so it's very cold here. Not even hitting 60 degrees anymore in the daytime. Pretty chilly. So anyways, that's how it is this week. That's wrapping up my week. I'm just gonna go back here to playing with my fun fur, trying to come up with some more fun designs, because I just love this yarn. So let me know, say hello in the comments, let me know about the skirt, what your thoughts are. If you're going to make it, you make yours to fit you. Just know that the shell and trellis stitch is a multiple of 9, right? So you would need to increase it by 18, right, to do 9 more on each side. So that would be like 90 stitches, I think 108 stitches, something like that. So you can make it bigger if you need, and you could certainly make it smaller as well, right? Play with those stitches. Once you know it's a multiple of 9, just have fun with it. Be creative with it. So have fun with it. Let me know if you're going to make it. Let me know what else. Let me know if you made the shell and trellis beanie, and or if you just like the stitch like I do. And let me know what your plans are for your weekend. Alrighty, my friends. Well, thank you so, so much for choosing to come back, hang out, listen, spend some of your day with me. That means so much to me. Okay, well, remember that, we have to say at the end, right? Creativity is for everybody, whether you see or you see like me, which is not in color, not in the day, or you don't see it all. Creativity is for you. And whether it's knitting or crocheting or sewing or quilting or beading or sculpting or painting or weaving or carving or whatever it is that you do, today is a great day to craft and create. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, happy stitching. Bye-bye for now. Have a great weekend with whatever you're doing.